Heard Shalom, Shalom. This brother Nasai. Come back at another video through Spirit Prophet about Shemal Shai. As always, Lord, when I pray these lessons be edifying to the Lord's elect. Prior to getting started, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Shemal Shai, by Shemal Kakadash. I'm going to give double honor to the apostle elders of great millstone who will teach well, and peace, salutation to Akim, one of the foremost pushes truth, and sincerity, and diligence. Shalom, Shalom. All right, it's basically going to be a quick topic, a quick lesson through Spirit Prophet about Shemal Shai. As I was just meditating, just around the house and throughout the week, I was just thinking about the mentality that we must have, in this truth, right? When it comes to the seriousness of our salvation, and a mindset to have is whatever it takes, knowing that it's not going to be easy, knowing that it's going to be a difficult thing, we're constantly in battle, constantly fights within the mind, right? Constantly in a spiritual warfare, like the scripture says, right? Let's get that. All right. And excuse me for all of, I'm kind of sick, I'm a little bit under the weather, I tried to hold off this week, trying to see if it was going to go away, but it's still on me. So, just going to get it in. Well, first I said I was going to get that, oh yeah, wrestle not. Let me get that. This is Ephesians 6. This is Ephesians 6 and verse, I'm going to read. We're straight to the point. It's Ephesians 6 and verse 12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. So with that being said, right, we're constantly at war, we're constantly at battle, spiritual battle, spiritual warfare, right? Whether it be in your mind, right? That's a daily thing, it's a daily battle, it's a daily fight, something that we always have to conquer is ourselves, right? That'd be another topic, right? It's something that I seen. It was like, I forget how it was quoted. I took a picture of it. It said, where is that? Dang, I just took a picture of that. It said something about it's a war, right? It's a battle. It said you versus you, but one of you have to lose, right? And when I seen that, I was like, man, yeah, that'd be a good topic to go into. One of you have to lose, and it's about that flesh losing, that old man that's supposed to be put away, and garnished, put down, and that's what we're striving to do every day. The scriptures talk about the righteous being renewed day by day, so every day, right, we're getting better and better, right? What we're supposed to be growing and getting better and better, you see. But with this topic, that we're going into at hand, ultimately is that whatever it take mindset allows us to do those things, right? Put off that old man, put off that flesh, right? To live in the spirit, to fulfill the things of the spirit, right? To be what's pleasing before the eyesight of Yahweh Shemal Shai, we got to put this flesh down, right? And that's what we say, whatever it takes, right? And it comes with losing our lives, you see. Let me get that real quick, right? And that's spiritually, that's physically too. You see, you can look at that in a spiritual sense and a physical sense, because in a physical sense, there will be some that will have to lay down their lives and physically, die. Being made, that's what you call martyring, right? Being made a martyr, right? Which is ultimately a victory. It's not a punishment, but a victory. You see, to be made a martyr in the names of Yahweh Shemal Shai. You see, but when I say you got the physical, right? Some may, have to go through that. Not all of us gonna have to go through that, but it said I've seen the heads of the souls of them that were beheaded. You see, but also in the spirit, you warring, right? You renewing day by day by what? Fighting this flesh, like Apostle Paul talked about, this flesh, the will of no good thing. It's a constant battle. He say, just to quote it, is written in the place where he say that which I will, I do or not. Because the sinful nature of this flesh is to war against you. You see, and that's the battle, the flesh against the spirit against the flesh. Say that the spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak. You see, so we got to constantly be putting this flesh in check, It may be days where your flesh try and make you just lay down, take you a nap. You tired or whatever the case may be. But those be the moments where you gotta muscle through, read you a chapter, do something. To sow towards the spirit. This is Matthew 16 and verse 25, right? And this is these things do be difficult because this flesh is always pressing. You see, this is Matthew 16 and 25. It says, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it," man. You see, so we lose our lives for Yahweh Shemashah's sake, we're going to find it, right? We're going to reap everlasting. That's what the scripture says, to seek ye the kingdom first, and the rest of these things shall be added. You see, so that's what we're seeking for. We're seeking the kingdom. You see, so we can't, live like we want to live according, like, not saying, okay, so we can't live like we want to live according to this world. Meaning, we can't, how can I explain that? If to make it make sense, like, we can't, not saying that we want to live and be a part of the world. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we can't straddle the fence. We got to lose our lives, right? Meaning what? This truth, right? This serving Yahweh Shah takes time, right? We can't be giving it to too much into your kids, too much to family, which we give attention to these things, right? But it doesn't over trump the ministry, doesn't over trump the truth, the brotherhood, so on and so forth, you see. But read again, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it," man. So putting in the time, right, that this truth requires, right, is going to reap an everlasting reward, an eternal reward, because the scriptures talk about the, let me get that. Let me get that real quick. This is that reward. And excuse me, too, because all the sniffing Salaki on that. This was Solomon 3 and verse 4. It says, "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet their hope is full of immortality." You see, so that's what we're going to receive. We're going to receive immortality, a crown of life, right? That crown of life, right, that Apostle Paul talked about. He say that that is laid up for me, right? But also let it be known that how do you get that? By what? Magnifying your office. By what? Being in this spirit. Let's get this. Is Sirach 23 and verse. This is it's right here. Sirach 23 and verse 6. No, verse 4. It says, "O Lord, Father of the power of my life, give me not a proud look," right? It's something that we all should be praying, not to get prideful, not to get boastful. We've seen and we seen many accounts of men getting prideful, what the latter end of them was, right? And we also seen from reading the scriptures, reading the accounts of the scriptures, what happened with prideful men. You see, right? We read about Saul, how he wasn't always prideful, right? You read about Saul, it talked about how he was pleasing before the Lord, that he made him king. You see, but what ended up happening, he got prideful. You see, so we have these different accounts. We read these different accounts, right, of what pride gets you, right? So this is up verse 4. It says, "O Lord, Father of my power of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servant always a haughty mind." Because what the scriptures say, pride go before destruction, a haughty look before a fall. See, so we don't want to be destroyed. We don't want to be cast down out of the sight of the Lord, where we always want to remain in his sight, in his favor, under his hedge, right? We got to pray these things, man. We got to be in the spirit. We got to be in the right spirit, being in the spirit of things, and understanding when when those spirits are trying to come upon you, when you not in the spirit, and even, I'm not saying you go be in the spirit 24/7, but you know how to check those spirits. Even when you might not have did what you were supposed to do one day, or next day come, guess what? You're gonna try and make sure that you do what you're supposed to do, right? In the spirit, it might not always be on you. You might not feel it all the time, pushing, tugging at you. But sometimes it just take for you, like right now, I just had to start the camera. I'm thinking in my mind, talking to myself, praying, right? But what's all that if you're not gonna put no action behind it? You gotta put action behind these things, man, right? So it says, "Turn away from me, vain hopes," right? It says, "and conceptuous," right? Conceptuous is, I'm probably not saying it right, but it goes into vain hopes also, right? It says, and vain hopes simply as what? Living according to this world, having a dream in this place, looking. You know, I was talking to one of my kinfolk. This nigga talking about some 10 years down the line. Like, nah, nigga, we ain't no 10 years down the line, bro. You know what I'm saying? We our minds, our hearts not on that. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't tell him that. But in my mind, you know, so I'm thinking. It say, and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee, right? So we're always desirous to serve the Lord, right? Even when you're feeling weak, right? You pray to Yahweh Shema Shah to give you the spirit or give you, you know, whatever the case may be, strengthen you in the spirit throughout the day, right? You pray these things to Yahweh Shema Shah. Those are the ones that he's willing to uphold. That is always desirous to serve him, man. This is our duty. This is our whole reason of life, right? Is to serve Yahweh Shema Shah. Right? The scripture said, to this man will I look, to him that is contrite and him that trembleth at my word. So we want to make sure that we're operating in both of those spirits, right? Of a contrite spirit, and we're trembling at the word of the Most High, right? Moving in fear and wisdom. You see? Because it is wisdom, it is a wise thing to fear the Lord, right? Let me see. I think that was it on that. I think I finished that Lose Thy Life, right? And like we say, that comes with, you know, putting in the time, right? You know, sometimes it be late nights, whatever the case may be, man. You might go to camp, late night camps and stuff, you know. All of that is, you know, losing your life. You see, but the scriptures did, you know, we were forewarned. It say, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You see, so it's gonna be and those things like that, you know, like camps, so on and so forth, videos. These are things that you already supposed to be doing. You know, the Lord said, "Feed my sheep." That stuff we already supposed to be doing, man. You know what I'm saying? You see, but it gets deeper than that. It's more than that. You know, it's about off-camera etiquette. You know, how you're maneuvering off camera, how you maneuver, and how you're acting, how you're responding, how you're reasoning. You know, when you're dealing with different things, and when different things come upon you, or you in the flesh, you know, as you let these demons, you know, take control, take the wheel. You know, or as you constantly moving in the spirit. You're not saying that. You know, sometimes you mess up, sometimes you may slip. You see, but the Lord upholds the elect. The Lord upholds the righteous, right? The pure heart. You see. But like we say, you know, going back to the original title of the lesson is whatever it takes, right? We read these accounts of the men of old, and they had that mentality of whatever it takes, whatever they went through, right? They knew which way to go. They knew to call on Yahweh Shai. That's what we must do also, man. In our times of weakness, right? In our times of lowliness and spirit, whatever the case may be, man. Pray to Yahweh Shai, right? You hear the apostles elders talk about it all the time, right? Prayer is a spiritual power, man. That spiritual power in itself, prayer, man. You see? And to actually be able to be heard, man. Come on, man. It's a beautiful thing. You see? Let me get this. Because I just thought about it. Apostle Paul said he was in trouble often, right? He talked about everything that he went through, right? For the ministry, right? I forget. I worded it. Is that 2 Corinthians? Let me get the blue letter real quick. Because he was just going into everything that they went through, like shipwreck, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. Let me see. Oh, this is a good one. It's not the one I want, but this is a good one. But I'm gonna hold that one. I'm gonna hold that. That's a good one. Because he say pearls in the cities. Let me get that. He say thrice was I beaten. That's what it said. Thrice was I beaten with the, you know what I'm saying? For all of this, for the ministry, you know what I'm saying? For the elect sake, right? That's 2 Corinthians 11. I'm gonna get the other one too because I got two of them on that. Right, this is 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 22, 23, right? So basically, just going into that, whatever it takes, right? So it's this 23. It says, "Are they ministers of Hamashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more." It says, "In labors more abundant." It says, "In stripes above measure, in prison more frequent, in debts often." Right? It says, "Of the Jews 5 times receive I 40 stripes, save one." So he went through all of this hell, man. You see? but guess what? He stayed down, right? He kept pushing, you know. It say, "Thrice was I beaten with rods, Once was I stoned, thrice I suffered shipwreck, right? And shipwreck is a scary thing, so he went through all this turmoil, right? It says, a night and a day I have been in the deep. It says, in journeyings often, he was always on the move, right? And pearls of waters, right? And the pearls of robbers and pearls by my own countrymen, right? Because the scriptures say that a prophet have not honored his own country, you see? And they were always, the hell that they went through in Lystra, Antioch, so on and so forth, right? It say, and pearls by the heathen, and pearls in the city, and pearls is dangerous, right? Pearls in the wilderness, and pearls in the sea, pearls amongst false brethren. It says in weariness, of painfulness, and watchings often, right? Still in hunger and thirst, and fasting often, and cold and nakedness, besides those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches. So he went through all of that, right, for the care of the churches, and that's what we have to do, man. It's the spirit that we ought to be in. We read this, right? We ought to take this and apply this to our walk, apply this to ourselves. Speaking to myself first, man, right? He went through all this that we're reading about, right? And we don't even go through shit. I ain't never been through no shipwreck. You know what I'm saying? Some of this, like, they had it hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he said that what he endured all of this for what? For all the care of the churches, man. You see? Let me get that other one. This is 2 Corinthians 4. This is that whatever it take mindset, man. You see that the elect is going to have. The elect is going to be in this mindset. The mindset as the men of old were, right? It's 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 5. It says, "For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves your servants of Yahushua, for Yahushua's sake," right? For the Most High, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts, right? So when we received this spiritual understanding, right, we were enlightened, right? We like the scripture says, it says, "I'll put you in remember." We were made in remembrance, right? For you once knew this. It's also written in the book of Baruch, right, which was also prophecy that we will wake up in the latter days and remember ourselves. You see, remember our power, right? This is a mighty thing, man. It is bigger than us. You see. It says, "Shine out of darkness has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahushua HaMashiach." I will read it in the NLT. It says, "For the Most High, who said, 'Let there be light,' in the darkness," right? Because we were once dark, we were once dead, we were once in that dead state, we were once in those dry bones, right? That when we receive the spirit of Yahushua, right, life came upon us. You see? What it says, can these dry bones live? He said, "What prophesy to them?" There's another account where Yahushua say that Yahushua breathed on them. So that goes into that breath, showing that breath, we received that breath of life and we became living. We were once dead, we were once in darkness. You see? He said that he that wanted not a way of understanding remained in the congregation of the dead. You see, so without understanding, we were dead. You see? But now we're made alive through Yahushua Mashiach. It says, "Let there be light in the darkness." Has made it's like, let there be light in the darkness. Yeah, has made this light shine in our hearts, so we could know the glory of the Most High that is seen in the face of Yahushua Mashiach. We now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. Because the scriptures, when we read the regular version, it says we possess this treasure, earthen vessel, showing that what we were entrusted with this. What's that verse? It say he entrusted thee. What's that word? What's that? Dang, what's that precept? Shalakia. I'm trying to remember what's that verse. I think it say he entrusted. Let me see. I'm gonna finish reading this and I'm gonna go get it. Verse 8. Nah, I gotta find that. Hold on. Say he entrusted us. Let's get that. This is First Thessalonians 2:4. It says, "But as we were allowed of the Most High to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but the Most High which trieth our hearts." Man, you see, so we were put in trust. You see? So by him giving this to us, what did he tell us to do? He said what? Shew this to faithful men. You see? Let's get that. It's 2 Timothy 2:2. It says, "And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, and who shall be able to teach others also." And that's what we received it to do. To what? To publish it. Right? The scripture say, "Greatly is the company that published it." The company of what? The company of the prophets, which mean publish me to make known. Right? You see? So let's keep going. Where I was in that 2 Corinthians 4:4-8. They say, "We are also in trouble on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed." So let's read that in NLT. We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We're not destroyed, man. You see, we go through all this hell, right? The heathen over us, so on and so forth. But what do he say? "Ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." You see, we're not through, man. We have an opportunity, right? It says we have this chance that was presented before us, right? So we got to have the right. We got to make sure we got proper mindset, right? Whatever it takes, whatever goes, right? No folding. You see? It says we are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but never abandoned by the Most High. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed, right? So you may have a moment, bro, where you get knocked down. Life hit hard. Shit happen. You get put in a position with unorthodox ass position. Like, damn, how the fuck I'm gonna get out of this? Hey man, you not destroyed, bro. Yo, the Lord still got His Spirit on you. The Lord still dealing with you. Keep moving, keep pushing. Pray to the Lord. Grow with the Spirit. Get stronger. That's what it's about. The Lord puts us in positions to strengthen us, not to destroy us. We just read it. You see? He don't put us in these positions to destroy us, man. It said that the Lord is not willing to tempt us more than we're able to bear. You see? So anything that He puts on us, He know that you can handle it. It's just about how you reason with it, man. And your reason needs to be according to the precepts, according to the scriptures, applying the precepts. You see? Calling back to remembrance the acts of old of our fathers, right? Recite these things to yourself, right? Eschewing evil, right? Casting off these, this flesh, this weak nature, right? This mind that used to pour many things, you see? And continue to push, you see? Because the scriptures did say, "Enter ye in at the straight gate." Straight meaning what? A way with difficulty. It won't be easy. It won't be, the kingdom won't be just handed to us, bro. Like that crown of life, the kingdom is coming. But to be a part of that governing body, that's not something that's just handed to you, bro. That takes work, bro. That's that's something that's earned. That ain't just handed to you. Because if you earn something, you appreciate it more. You see? So, you get, like we just read it, right? He say, knocked down, but not destroyed. Through suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Yahushua, so that the life of Yahushua may also be seen in our bodies, man. You see? So it said, the Apostle Paul said, "Well, being crucified with Him, we shall be glorified with Him, man." Right? And receive joy everlasting, man. You see, that's what we're gonna go through this hell. It's not gonna be easy, nigga. It's gonna be hard. You gonna go through it. It's gonna hurt. A lot of shit gonna hurt, bro, but you gotta keep it moving. You gotta keep it pushing. You see? There's a saying, who was that told that to me? It was the brother Rahab. Brother Rahab from Nebraska. I forget what I asked. I think I asked a question. I forget what I asked, but I'll never forget the brother telling me this quote, and it was pain. The quote is, "Pain is weakness leaving the body." You see? So we got to go through that pain, man. The Lord is calcifying us, man. You see? If we have this wisdom to strengthen us, right? To fortify us. That's what it tells you. It says wisdom teaches temperance, prudence, and fortitude. Fortitude goes to fortify. If you don't fortify your building or fortify your household, right? It's destroyed. It's cast down. But we're being fortified via Yahweh Shema Shai, via this word, this truth, man. You see, we're being built up. So take whatever it is that's being put on you, take it on the chin. You know, learn from it, grow from it, reason it right. Don't let it beat you down. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it press on you. You know, don't let it overcome you. Overcome it. You know, we gotta overcome situations, right? We gotta be problem solvers, visionaries, solution based, but also maintaining that whatever it takes mindset, man. You know, so with that, that's pretty much it. You know, Lord, when I praise you, let's was edified and exhorted to your occupant. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostle, elders, great millstone, who teach well, and peace and salutation to you, Aqua, the forwards, pushes truth and sincerity and diligence. Till next time, Shalom. Bro, stay strong.